After more than 2 years of war, all of the 20 surviving hostages held by Hamas have been released. President Donald Trump was in the region today to mark this watershed moment in history. Julia Benbook has more on the role Trump played in brokering the peace deal and what's next for the region.
It has been a long-stated goal of President Donald Trump's to bring the war in Gaza to an end, and he had the chance to visit the region after helping broker a ceasefire agreement that so many hope will lead to a permanent end of the conflict. Trump is receiving credit for the role that he played here, as several world leaders have acknowledged his diplomatic efforts, and chants of "Thank you, Trump" have been heard on the ground in recent days. There were a couple of key stops during his visit. Trump arrived in Israel, where he met with hostage family members and addressed the Israeli parliament. He then visited Egypt for a signing ceremony and a summit focused on what's next for Gaza, specifically what stability and security could look like going forward.
This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
Now, this is a big moment, but it's important to note that there are still a lot of questions. When Trump announced that Israel and Hamas had agreed to phase 1 of his 20-point proposal to end the war, he did not address some of the key sticking points, including Hamas disarmament, as well as the future governance of Gaza. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbook.
It was an emotional reunion for the hostages who survived following the October 7th terror attack. As Maribel Gonzalez reports, Israel also released Palestinian prisoners as part of the ceasefire deal.
Emotional reunions as the final 20 hostages held by Hamas were reunited with their families across Israel. People cheered in Tel Aviv, celebrating this milestone moment. Under a U.S.-brokered ceasefire deal, hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees were met with large crowds as they also reunited with their relatives in the West Bank. President Donald Trump declared a dawn of a new Middle East.
This deal, this once-in-a-lifetime deal, nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening today.
On Monday, photos released by the Israeli Prime Minister's office show a freed hostage playing with his children for the first time in 2 years. Families say they never stopped fighting for the release of their loved ones.
Keep sharing your stories to policymakers. Keep telling us what do you think needs to happen, and give us ideas on how we can break the deadlock. And we kept doing that. They kept open the White House for us, and President Trump has done it.
President Trump said that phase 2 of his 20-point ceasefire plan to end the war between Israel and Hamas has already started as he meets with world leaders in Egypt for a summit on Gaza's future and peace in the Middle East.
If you look at Gaza, it needs a lot of cleanup.
This is clearly, in my mind, I think in the mind of everyone in this room, probably one of the most important days for world peace in 50 years.
Right, and we appreciate
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Israeli authorities say Hamas handed over 4 coffins with the remains of deceased hostages to the Red Cross.